What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to ask the question, will Scream 5 be Sydney's final movie? Now, we've talked about her even in this movie before, and we talked about, how safe she is, or is she, in this film. I wanted to have an entire video talking about this. This has been, to me, at least, the most interesting thing, and also kind of the most, almost scary. I've said it before, I am pretty concerned with the idea of letting her go. I get it. I also feel that there's a battle going on in my head because I do understand movies that need to let characters go, especially if you want a franchise to survive. Relying on one character isn't the greatest. I always talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. That's my favorite film franchise of all time. I love Johnny Depp as Jack, and I want him, by the way, to come back to finish that story. But ultimately, if Pirates wants to survive beyond him, they need to do movies and things without him in general. Now, the controversy and all that stuff, that's made it a lot more difficult than what it ultimately would be. But it's kind of the same thing for Scream. Sydney is such a vital part. I love her as a character so much. I think she's the best character throughout the Scream franchise. And you can make a big argument that she is Scream. Ghostface and Roger L. Jackson's voice and Sydney. Maybe she's not to some people, but at least to me, she is. So she's half of the equation. So I do get concerned when I think of, could they not kill her off? I mean, killing her off is definitely an idea that I don't think would play that well. And we've talked about it, right? Will she die? Will she not die? I think ultimately she won't die. I think they're going to leave her alone and keep her alive, mainly because it really seems like it's Dewey's time, which is sad in its own right, by the way. But I think that's what's going to happen. Dewey will be killed, and Gale and Sydney will be left alone. At least, again, just my opinion, just my prediction for right now. We'll probably do like a final predictions video, as we get closer to the movie coming out. But I think she'll survive, but then the question will be, will she be kind of retired, and how much will the movie, do? Now, I've read leaks about this film, and as I've always said with these videos, I try to keep the leak stuff and the leak knowledge and leak videos outside of just the speculation. I will say this, though, even the leaks, without getting too much into them, for everyone that says like that this is a definitive ending for Sydney, there's another one that says it's gonna be fine, and they leave the door open. So even that stuff, you can't fully believe any of that stuff, at least of right now. I feel like they're going to do, at least my prediction, I feel like they're going to kind of leave it in a middle ground where if they want to leave Sydney alone after this film, they'll be able to. And Neve Campbell, right? If she wants to leave this character, she'll be able to. That really, to me, that's what scares me the most. Again, I completely get it. I think also, by the way, if this movie succeeds, one of the biggest things this movie, I guess a test, a metric test, if this movie succeeds, is that we like the survivors. Because whoever lives when this movie is over, they're the new squad going forward. And we didn't really have a big squad in Scream 4, right? It was going to be Kirby. It was going to be Jill. Would that have been enough? That was it. And I guess Judy, right? With those two young kids, in Kirby and Jill, would they have been enough for the next one? You could make the same argument here, right? If Melissa Barrera, Sam, Tara, and one other person, maybe Mindy, maybe Wes, maybe whoever, right? Name a young kid, or I'm actually younger than most of the people in this movie, but name one of them, right? Are those 3 or 4 or 2, are they going to be likable enough where you keep them and you feel very confident in them leading the way for future movies? I feel like at the least, the movie's probably going to end with that assumption that this is the new cast, just like 4, in a way. I would say this one's going to make a more definitive statement. This is the new cast, and like the old cast is maybe there, but most likely not there, and like it's for the new cast to take over. That's what I feel this movie is going to do. I'm scared about that because I'm scared that it's going to leave it in that way, and then they're going to say, yeah, the next movie we really don't see a need for Sydney to be in it. Now, again, granted, if there's no reason for her to be there, is it a wise move to insert her there? No. I would say, as a general rule of thumb, any movie that Sydney Prescott is in, including even 4, you need to have a definitive reason, and it needs to be a strong enough reason for her to show up. That's it. You know what I mean? I guess you could have her as like a mentor. You could maybe even end this movie with maybe her and her family, because we know like her and her family don't live in Woodsboro, like they left. So maybe at the end of the movie they move into Woodsboro just to act as like this kind of like protection force if necessary, but they're going to kind of live their own lives. That would be nice because at least then you're isolating her in the same area. You know, even the directors have seemed to hint that like future movies will still, if there are future movies, will still take place in Woodsboro. So if Sydney ends the movie there, that's good news, right? Because she'll stay. I don't know. Again, it's tough, but I don't want this to be the end. And that's that, again, constraint in my mind where it's like I get wanting to let her go, but I also see the value in her. You also look at Halloween, and I don't know if that's like the perfect franchise to model anything off of because of, you know, I guess pretending certain movies didn't exist and like that string of just not good movies in general. And I'm not even a big fan at all of the newest two. So I don't know if I want Scream to model itself off of Halloween, but one of the better parts of Halloween is, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis and even what they had done bringing her back for the last two. I think they did a pretty reasonable job. You know, if there's a way of letting Nev do it, then there's that. And finally, as I've said before, but to kind of just, you know, cap this video off with this thought, you know, I don't want to be, I'm not negative by trade, right? I am pretty optimistic. I am always, I would say, going on the positive more than the negative. But one thing that I've always stressed about this movie is back to the whole, you know, you're ending the movie and the cast is the cast. I mean, that can go wrong. It can go wrong. You have to think, right, that if this movie ends, and what if the cast isn't likable? What if these are not the greatest characters? What if you almost need Sydney as a buffer or just as kind of like a +1 to help a average, maybe below average, maybe slightly above average, but she can make it even better, this cast? Now, again, I'm not saying anything about Melissa Barrera or Jenna Ortega or anything like that, but we don't know. We haven't seen the film yet. So I do just get worried about the idea that this could be it for these two characters. For, I would, you know, Gale I would include there, right? Gale and Sydney. And then it's like, well, what if the characters aren't strong enough, the characters that we're left with? And then Scream 6 comes out, and it's kind of a failure because it doesn't have those two. And then again, that would circle back to the conversation of, well, are those two necessary? Do you need them? Or would they be the reason the next movie would fail? Or would it be writing? Or would it be, you know, motive? Or, you know, whatever, right? What would be the issue? But I don't know. I really think, again, to kind of finish the video here, my final thoughts or final predictions, I don't want this to be her last movie. I would personally say I don't think it would be the last movie. I think as long as she's alive, there's always a pretty solid shot she can come back, and I feel like the directors or the writers would figure out a way, and as long as she wanted to do it, I feel like it would be okay. But I do think the movie's going to leave us at a spot where if she wanted to be done, if they wanted the character to be done, they could. That's what I'm gonna say that as pretty definitive. I think that makes sense in the current movie landscape of this is how you do it. You bring back these characters to usher in the new group, and then maybe you keep them around, or maybe they can die. But that's the thing with Sydney is like, can you really ever kill her? Probably not. So then it's like, do you retire her? Do people accept that? I personally might not accept that. That's just, you know, I don't want to feel bad about my own opinion, you know what I mean? I don't want you guys to feel bad. If you think, you know what, no, I want this to be the last movie, she's done, it's getting old, like I want a new cast, that's fine. I'm not guilting anybody into anything. I personally want her past this movie, but, you know, if you guys don't agree with that, that is totally, totally cool. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, I have a Twitter. I have a second channel. I also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links for them all are in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all on the next video.